Hello students, and welcome back to Chemistry A. This is Ms. Sleight, and today we're going to be talking about classifying matter. Now, matter can first be classified into two main types, and those are pure substances and mixtures. A pure substance is just a substance that contains only one type of particle. So we're talking about there's just one thing present in a pure substance. Pure substances themselves can be subdivided into two categories. First being elements. An element is just made of one type of atom, and they're the simplest substance that still has unique properties. Some examples of elements: hydrogen, carbon, iron, sulfur, gold. If you can find it on the periodic table, it's an element. And it is just one type of atom. The other type of pure substance are compounds. Now, compounds are made of two or more different elements that are chemically combined in a fixed ratio. And compounds are going to have properties that are different than the elements that make them up. Some examples of compounds are carbon dioxide, water, and sodium chloride. Another thing you'll notice about compounds is that often their names sound like the elements that make them up, and they also always have a specific chemical formula that accompanies their name. And that chemical formula represents that fixed ratio of elements that make it up. Now for a visual representation of this, something that you guys probably all have on you is pencil lead. Pencil lead is an example of a pure substance, specifically an element, because it's made entirely out of carbon. Another example of a pure substance you're all familiar with is water. Water is a compound that's a pure substance. There are only water molecules in here, so that makes it a pure substance, just one thing. The second category of matter are mixtures. Mixtures are a combination of two or more pure substances that are physically combined, which means they can also be separated by a physical process. Mixtures themselves can be subdivided into two categories. The first category is a homogeneous mixture, which has a uniform composition, which means that it's going to look the same throughout the entire mixture. Some examples are things like milk, Kool-Aid, or if you mixed sand and salt together. The other type of mixture is called a heterogeneous mixture, and it does not have a uniform composition, so it's going to look different depending on what part of the mixture you are observing. And some examples are sand and water. They're not going to mix, you're going to see the two separately. Oil and water, and even a chocolate chip cookie. Now for our visual, let's come back to our glass of water. If I take a spoonful of sugar here, and I put that in our glass of water, and we mix it up. We will find that it is gonna, once all the sugar dissolves, it ends up looking very much uniform and the same throughout, almost like the original glass of water. But we know this is a mixture and not a compound because its properties are going to be the same as the things that made it up. It's going to be liquid like the water, but it's going to be sweet now because of the sugar. And it is specifically a homogeneous mixture because it looks the same all the way through. You can't separately see the water parts and the sugar parts. Our example of a heterogeneous mixture is our chocolate chip cookie here. Again, a chocolate chip cookie is a mixture of cookie and chocolate chips, as the name implies. But we can clearly see the different parts of it. The chocolate chips aren't perfectly evenly mixed within the cookie. That's what makes it a very tasty heterogeneous mixture. Now let's do a little bit of testing your learning. So I've got a few substances listed here. I want you to pause the video and take a moment to identify each of them as first a pure substance or a mixture, then identify each pure substance as an element or a compound, and identify each mixture as either homogeneous or heterogeneous. So pause the video and take a moment to do that now. Alright, let's see how you did. Cobalt is a pure substance, specifically an element. You can see it on the periodic table. Pulp-free orange juice is a mixture, and because there's no pulp in it, it's homogeneous. A salad, on the other hand, would be a heterogeneous mixture. Aluminum bromide is a pure substance, specifically a compound. Again, the two different element names in there together give us a good idea that it's a compound. Lastly, salt water, similar to sugar water, is a homogeneous mixture. That's all we have for today, folks. Have a good rest of your day.